श्री श्री आनंदमयी मात की जय. To be active in some cause is called to work, and the work that is incumbent on any particular person is called his duty. It is important to think out carefully what exactly is each one's duty. For the householder and the housewife, it is to look after their home and family. But if a man feels with overwhelming force that he should leave worldly life in order to devote himself entirely to the supreme quest, then this becomes his undeniable duty. Consequently, there is no absolute standard that can be applied to one and all. Each one's duty is determined by circumstances, time, place, and the nature of his purpose in life. That the contemplation of God is the first and foremost duty of every human being has been forgotten by the majority of people. In ancient Hindu society, man's life was regulated by division into 4 ashramas, phases. Brahmacharya, the life of a student with the essential condition of conserving the life force for the sake of ultimate self-realization. Grihastha, the stage of householder, with its various duties to society. Vanprastha, retirement into solitude for the sake of divine contemplation. Sannyas, complete renunciation. But at the present time, only the householder's ashram is still in force. Therefore, the opportunities that people used to have of preparing themselves for the highest goal by worldly experiences as well as by renunciation are not available anymore. Pleasures and enjoyment are sought from beginning to end, and the majority of men spend their whole life in worldly pursuits. This is why nowadays far too little thought is given to questions such as what is the purpose of life, what is this world, and what the next. In the world, people become rich by adding zeros to one, and on the spiritual path, the aspirant concentrates on the one alone in order to attain to the one truth. Thus, it is obvious that these 2 paths lead in entirely opposite directions. It will be worthwhile to ponder seriously over the fact that without the one, the zeros have no value whatever. Therefore, one should with complete faith and reliance on the one ever strive after the one goal, so that there may be no dread of poverty under any circumstances. The efforts prompted by one's true nature, Swabhav, that are made in order to discover one's own real wealth, Swadhan, are called Sadhna. Potentially, every action is a sadhana. Every individual is a sadhak, and God, being man's real treasure, is the sole purpose of all sadhana. So long as man is worldly, he performs his sadhana by work done from personal motives for the sake of material success. Yet, unconsciously, he is even thereby seeking God, for nothing is outside of the one. Whatever anybody does is in the last analysis undertaken in order to attain to the Supreme. This is self-evident. The sadhana of the mundane person is directed towards the satisfaction of his wants. Here the sense of possession prevails, and outer activity and enjoyment are the objective. There will be a powerful incentive for this kind of sadhana so long as man is harassed by the lash of pain and misery, humiliation, disgrace, grief, and affliction. In a way, this sadhana also is prompted by man's true nature. For not until one has acutely felt the sting of ceaseless wanting does one awaken to the urgency of discovering the self. When a person grows eager to become established in his true being, to find his real treasure, this marks the beginning of spiritual sadhana, and he learns to act without desire or personal motive. Thereby is laid the foundation of detachment, renunciation, and all-embracing love. Young and immature people desire what others possess and hanker after petty enjoyments. When as a result of religious practices and good works, man in the midst of prosperity is reminded of his real treasure, he starts laboring vigorously for its recovery. The more he exerts himself in this activity of his true nature, the fuller will be the knowledge he gains of his inner wealth. When fire breaks out in a house, it will not die down until everything combustible has been burned to ashes. Similarly, once a real sadhana has begun, it is impossible to drop it. On the contrary, it will gather impetus and intensity day by day and push the aspirant into the swift current of his own particular path to enlightenment. First of all, the sadhaka ceases to identify himself with his body and mind. Then his cravings and desires are dissolved to the last trace. Thereupon, the consciousness of complete equality will be born. And finally, the self which transcends mind and body will be realized by direct experience. This is the ultimate goal of all sadhana. Single-mindedness is its very life. Faith, trust, and patience constitutes its powers. Shri Shri Anandamayi Mat Ki Jai.